enjoyed all of our interviews, these conversations about calling in this series, and so I appreciate you coming this morning and sharing with us.
Thank you.
As I've invited other folks to do, I want to ask you to introduce yourself, basically. So give us the 2-minute version of the Gray Clark life history.
2-minute version. Well, I'm from a little bitty town, Eden, North Carolina. I think only Bob Clare knows that Eden was actually 3 little bittier towns of Leaksville, Spray, and Draper. So I'm actually from Leaksville, North Carolina. Who knew, right? Grew up in church, never knew life without church. Went to school in Chapel Hill, still a big fan even after last night's game. Pretty rough day, but worked for Dell Technologies. I'm the director of engineering there for a engineering team from New Jersey down to Florida. And Elisa and I got married. We've been 25 years in June. We have 2 kids. Catherine lives in Brooklyn, and then she's 21, and Elizabeth is a senior in high school here.
Gray, tell us, you mentioned growing up in church, so tell us a little bit about church experience, growing up in Eden in church and finding Park Road Baptist.
Well, I grew up in First Baptist Church of Eden, little Southern Baptist church, and grew up, memorizing Bible verses and everything, active in the youth group and all that. Actually, after college, when Elisa and I got married, we made our way here because Amber, Marin Bingle's sister Amber, and Elisa worked together in High Point as teachers. And then we came here. Marin and Scott pretty much invited us here. Our first day here was summer of '97, Alan Lehman's last Sunday. And we came, and Sue Helt called us right afterwards and welcomed us and invited us to join the choir, which we've never done, but we've been here 25 years. So.
Let Sue Helt get on you, and it's that's the way to, yeah, that'll do it. That's
I'll do it every time.
Thank you, Sue, for bringing Gray and Elisa to Park Road. You and I have had lots of conversation over the years, and a lot of that about calling. And maybe a voice that you've heard and trying to figure out how to respond to that. We've had some conversations about seminary and whether you ought to entertain seminary instead of work or in addition to work and all of that. So tell us about that voice and what you've heard and how you've kind of responded to that.
Yeah, well, we did talk about seminary, so probably the last 20 years or so. Luckily, it coincided with your and Amy's coming here. I thought about it, and a lot of it was really a deep searching. And I was reading a lot, I was in my early 30s, I guess then. Richard Rohr, Eckhart Tolle, Thich Nhat Hanh, Thomas Merton, many others, that there must be more. And it wasn't I wanted to become a minister, it was just deeper searching of more out there. And through many of our discussions, and life didn't make sense to go to seminary. I wasn't going to be a minister by any means, but for life and job and work and many, many reasons, it just didn't make sense. So kept studying and then found really this awareness, this meditation, mindfulness practice that is really built on, some of it comes from Buddhist tradition, but I wasn't looking for a new religion by any means or anything like that. More about applying experiential practice of all those years of being in church. So I found it to really augment both to inform my Christianity and Christianity to inform my study of the teachings of the Buddha. Not to become Buddhist, but applying this awareness of mindfulness. And I found even in Thich Nhat Hanh's books where he talks about Jesus and the Buddha as brothers, and he has a book called Living Buddha, Living Christ. That, gosh, any tradition based on ethics and wisdom and compassion, it's all the same stuff. And through many silent meditation retreats, some 8-day retreats, you learn a lot about your mind, these long meditation sits. But mindfulness, meditation as a practice of mindfulness, for me, I've truly experienced all that stuff we memorized of the kingdom of God is within you and the peace that passes all understanding. All that stuff really started to make sense. So that's it in a nutshell. That's 21 years. We'll gallons of coffee we've had
That's
talking
right.
about that.
Gray Clark is one of the most disciplined people that I know.
Thank you.
Gray is up at 4 o'clock every morning, and before most of us think about getting up, he's often run 10 miles or biked for 40 miles or something crazy like that. He's done a number of marathons, and he has applied the same discipline, I think, to this pursuit of faith, this idea of seminary, not because he felt called to be in ministry, but because was that a way for you to dig deeper? What was your initial introduction to insight meditation? How did that come about initially?
A lot of it's just Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about this. Thich Nhat Hanh, I think, has done a great job of talking about mindfulness. But then there's some teachers, Jack Kornfield, Tara Brach, Joseph Goldstein, many others who have brought that to the West, of mindfulness and meditation as a practice of mindfulness. So for me, just the interest, I think I did a Google search. It's been 14, 15 years ago here, and there wasn't much at the time, but there was a place here in Charlotte, Yoga for Life. They had a Monday night sit, and Ward Simmons was leading a Monday night sit. I showed up, there were 3 people there, and there was a cushion, and I sat there. I don't remember there being any instruction at all, but it was a 30-minute meditation, silent breath meditation sit. And 30 minutes is a long time to meditate if you've never meditated. And I left there thinking, that's it. I mean, that awareness and that presence, that's always there. And I've learned through all these years and hours, many, many hours. I was looking this morning, it's a lot of hours of practice. Have helped me develop that practice over time. But there's also the Insight Meditation Community of Charlotte, which meets here in the chapel Wednesday nights and has for since 2010, I think.
So that started how many years ago? Your introduction was?
Probably when I turned 40, lots of things happen when you turn 40. You can make a lot of choices, I guess. I found meditation, go figure.
Amy gave me a Harley, go
Yeah,
figure.
Had to go one way or the other. At least I made it clear it was not going to be a Harley for me, so meditation worked out pretty well. But through those years, the practice has really, it's huge. We probably have, before COVID, there were probably 80 people or so attending the chapel here on Wednesday night. So we still have it every Wednesday night, a talk and then meditation. So.
This past week, Grace shared an article that was written in 2013 in the Washington Post. It featured Tara Brach, who is one of the leaders in this country of the meditation movement, and they quoted Gray Clark in that article. I've never been quoted in the Washington Post, Gray. That's fantastic.
Yeah, be careful.
Very, very interesting. So you began by participating, but
right.
You've now moved into teaching. And becoming a teacher in the Insight Meditation community in Charlotte. That group is really amazing, folks. They meet on Wednesday night in our chapel, and there are 60, 70, 80 people here every Wednesday night. Now, they've taken the last year and a half off, just recently come
Zoom
back.
As well. It's always accessible over Zoom.
Zoom group. So that's a very disciplined group who come and practice sitting together and the practice of silence together.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about kind of the way your calling has worked itself out, not just in practicing insight meditation, but learning to teach that.
Well, this group that I lead, I found over I've only done technology for my whole career. This is 27 years of doing technology, I guess. And I find these days, and leading people, I absolutely love it. Some days I can't believe I get paid for what I get to do. But so much of it now is very little about technology and a lot about talking to people. I probably do more therapy than I do technology these days, it feels like. And I love that. I love that. So really I found where people, and I've learned this seen this through my own family who've dealt with addictions. There's a common saying that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. How we choose to deal with our pain, whether it's many things, alcohol, food, exercise, many things you could do, we're all searching for kind of the same thing. And what I found was, what I'm still finding every day, is people share with me, it can be just recently, cancer diagnosis, divorce, unfortunately, financial stuff, kid stuff, parent stuff. Everybody's got stuff. Every human being's got stuff. And what I found was people are really looking for some way to help. What can I use to heal or help my stress and anxiety and worry and depression? And I'm no therapist by any means, but I've certainly found this practice to save my life, for sure.
So just
I brought it to work.
To make it clear, Gray has brought this to work. He works for Dell Computers.
Yep.
He has folks from New Jersey to Florida, but he's also now leading a once a week.
Twice a week.
Twice a week?
Yeah, we do. So I was figuring, well, let's just do it. So found really a need. And then so Monday mornings and Friday mornings at 8:30, I lead about a 10 to 15 minute talk. And I found, as you and I have talked about, that 10-minute talk can take hours to put together for a small talk. And then lead a 10-minute meditation, a 10-minute sit, and I ring a bell. And we record it now. People are sending it all over. We have a Microsoft Teams group, and all those get saved. And it is, it's amazing. The people who join, and it's making a difference. Who knew?
Gray Clark decided not to go to seminary. He didn't see his career in the church, and he's become a minister at Dell. And I really mean that when I hear you talk about what you're doing and the conversations you're having and the way you're ministering to people in a secular setting is really wonderful. And I appreciate that and the discipline of trying to follow that calling for all these years and for where it's led you today. What final word of advice or suggestion or offering do you have to the congregation?
I guess this whole idea of calling is not so much, I probably thought 20 years ago it was finding your calling. And what I've come to see is it's probably more accepting your calling, and this whole, I also teach a servant leadership class on Thursdays at 4 over the last couple of years. And really, it boils down to me to starting with finding the legitimate needs of people and meeting those needs. It's as simple as that. And then what can you do to affect that? So it's like it kind of fell in my lap. Of course, this is what has to be done. This is the need. So to me, that's probably it's not so much finding your calling as accepting. Yeah, this is what I do. I have a unique thing that I do.
This story from Isaiah is a very mystical kind of calling, a theophany, a mystical moment of calling for Isaiah. Amy will talk with you about it a little more. Gray's calling has taken a lot more time than that. It's something that you've realized over 20 years, and I appreciate you listening to that voice that's been calling and the way you've responded and the difference that you're making with Dell and with other folks that you come in contact with. Thank you for listening to that calling.
Thank you.
May it be so for all of us.
Thanks.
Thank you.